So I know I said I didn't have much time for a demonstration, but I've never been one to disappoint, and I've never tried anything on my animals that I haven't done myself. Well, maybe a few things.
Well, good morning, folks. Welcome to another morning on the farm. We just dumped the chicken feed inside the compost bin. We're going to see how the girls go up the chicken ladder. So it is a cold and miserable day out here today. It's actually just just damp, right? Just damp, chill to the bone. So we're gonna head to the shop and work on a project. It's gonna be a milking stand for sheep. Except we're not actually milking the sheep. It's just those that aren't very keen on, taking to their lambs. So let's go to work. So we got the beginnings of the milking stand done. As you can see, we've already started to paint it too. We've even painted the dog a little bit, but that's fine. So we're gonna go grab a bite of lunch and we're gonna come back and put some finishing touches on this. All right, so I'm back now from lunch and we're about to get kicked off, finishing the milking stand. But I figured maybe, because we're at a natural break in the day here, it would be a really good time to answer one of the questions we get quite often, and it has nothing to do with milking and it has nothing to do with sheep. No, this is about roosters. So one of the biggest questions is, how many hens can one rooster cover? Well, one rooster can successfully cover about 20 to 25 hens. That's pretty easy math. Quite often folks will have more than one rooster, and then the adverse question is, well, how do I have that many roosters and not upset the social dynamic? So if you're gonna have more than one rooster in with your birds, you're gonna wanna make sure they have at least a dozen ladies each. That just takes your focus entirely away from each other. So I just stepped out to take a quick break to see what was happening, because I could hear water running on the roof of the shop. It's not really, well, it is water. It's frozen water. It's actually snowing again out here. Most of this had already melted. Things were actually looking pretty nice. It was nice and warm overnight. And now the beast is back. Now we're almost at a point where the project is getting, I would say, nearly complete. I've got to put one more rail across here so nobody just decides to divert. But the head gate's in, just like that. There's a little feed trough where they can come in, get some snacks. They can stand up there. Now this rail right here, this is intended so, once they're in, their heads are there, they can't, get in and turn the shoulders and move around and kick the lambs out of the way. I'm building this whole thing for one sheep, really. It's for Sharon, who's first due to lamb by the looks of things. And last year she really struggled. She required a lot of assistance to maintain that, well, that motherly, it just wasn't there. It just wasn't there at all. She had no interest whatsoever, but she had udders like an absolute dairy cow, and we can see that happening again. So I just don't want history to repeat itself. So if we have to facilitate, a little bit of milking, that can be done. Okay, so I've worked late into the night and the custom milking stand is done. So it's pretty slick. Just close this up. There's a little chain puts across there. Stops them from pulling their head out. Ranger thinks it's pretty cozy. You'll see it's got this custom hot pink splash to it. That was Charlotte adding her own little flavor to it. And the shoulder braces so the girls can't spin off of there. It's got this bespoke handle, fits the grip of the hand really nice, as well as the contour of the neck here. Now you'll notice one thing that's very different from a conventional milking stand is that it's not up on legs. The reason for this is quite simple. I'm not gonna milk the sheep. That's not what's gonna happen here. This is solely for the lambs that are struggling to get, the young mums or anything like that, or anybody's just not having any nonsense. We're gonna put them in this little milking stand. Yes, I'm talking to you, Sharon, and the lambs will still be able to get up there and have a drink because they're not, 18 inches off the ground. Now, if for whatever reason I decide to get into the sheep milking business to make cheese or soap or whatever fancy creams and lotions, we easily could put some legs under this thing and lift it up off the ground. And notice I said milking the sheep, and I'm not going to get into goats because goats are the devil. We'll agree to disagree. But there's options here. Anyways, we could change it a little bit with a few minor tweaks, and we could have an elevated milking stand. But for now, I think this is going to serve our needs very well. So I know the question's going to come up. Where's the plans? Well, there were no plans really, so I would love to share the plans. But I looked at a picture on the internet, and then I was like, okay, well, that's what we'll build. And then we got in here, and I'm like, okay, we're doing something else. So this was the end result. There really wasn't a plan. Anybody could do this quite easily with 4 12-foot long 2x6s, 1 8-foot 2x4, and some scrap little plywood that we made the feed trough out of at the front. And I think I had 18 inches of spare chain left over just to make the hook for the, whatever that thing that goes, the stalks, I guess. I don't know what you call that thing that clasps around the neck. But yeah, really, really easy. Probably overall labor time, 3 hours at most. And that's with all the sanding that happened to the handle too, right? I didn't want to get a splinter. I'm kind of delicate like that. Anyhow, I would love to do a demonstration, but it's dark outside, so we're just gonna have to wait for another day. And I've got a whole bunch of tools I gotta put away before I get to my cup of tea this evening. So I'm gonna let you go for now. I hope you have a fantastic evening. We'll see you tomorrow.
So I know I said I didn't have much time for a demonstration, but I've never been one to disappoint. And I've never tried anything on my animals that I haven't done myself. Well, maybe a few things. Anyways, here goes nothing. Yep, I think it works.